No man's life can be encompassed in one telling. There is no way to give each year its justified weight, to include each event, each of the elders, friends, and other people who helped to shape a lifetime. What can be done is to be faithful in spirit to the record and to try to find one's way to the heart of the man. A man who is the representative of God on earth for these turbulent times through which our world is passing. A man about whom God himself revealed over 100 years ago to the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, on a number of times. In December 1907, God told the promised Messiah,
"I am with you, O Masroor."
In January 1907, the promised Messiah wrote,
"I saw in my dream my son Sharif Ahmad, who was wearing a turban, and there were two men standing near him. One of them, pointing to him, said, 'Here comes the king,' and the other one said, 'He has yet to be the judge first.'"
On the 28th of May 1907, God revealed,
"Allah has made him Amir, contrary to expectation."
On the 10th of January 1907, the promised Messiah said,
"A few years back, I had said in a vision about my son Sharif Ahmad, 'Now you sit down in my place, and I shall leave.'"
These revelations were fulfilled by the progeny of Hadhrat Mirza Sharif Ahmad in the person of Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih V, the present head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. And this is the story of his life. In his Friday sermon of the 8th of September 1950, Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih II said,
"The promised Messiah said that I am departing, but God will send the second manifestation for you. But our Lord does not only have the second manifestation, he has the third manifestation as well. And he does not only have the third manifestation, he has the fourth manifestation also, followed by the fifth and the sixth manifestation. And thus the hand of God will keep showing this miracle to the world."
He further said,
"The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, once said that when religion will be in danger, God will send a few people of Persian descent to defend it. The promised Messiah was one of them, and so am I. And it is also possible that under this prophecy there may be others of the Persian descent who will be sent to uphold the magnificence of religion and to strengthen its foundations."
Just a few days after this faith-inspiring address, God sent to this world Sahibzadi Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who was born on the 15th of September 1950 in Rabwah, Pakistan, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community's headquarters. He is the great-grandson of the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the promised Messiah, and the grandson of the youngest son of the promised Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Sharif Ahmad Sahib, and the maternal grandson of Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih II. He is the son of Hadhrat Sahibzadi Mirza Mansoor Ahmad and Hadhrat Sahibzadi Nasira Begum. Sahibzadi Mirza Masroor Ahmad completed his primary education at the Talim-ul-Islam High School, Rabwah, and obtained his BA from the Talim-ul-Islam College, Rabwah, Pakistan. In 1976, he earned his Masters of Science degree in Agricultural Economics from the Agriculture University, Faisalabad, Pakistan. At the tender age of 17, he signed up for Wasiyat, or the will, under the plan initiated by the promised Messiah, thus committing a portion not less than 1/10 of his lifetime earnings and any property to the cause of Islam. He got married on the 31st of January 1977 to Sayyida Amatul Sabooh Begum Sahiba, daughter of Sayyid Daud Muzaffar Shah Sahib and Sahibzadi Amatul Hakim Begum. He is blessed with 2 children, a daughter, Sahibzadi Amatul Waris Fateh, who is married to Fateh Ahmad Dahiri Sahib of Nawabshah, and a son, Sahibzada Mirza Waqas Ahmad, who is married to Sahibzadi Hibatur Rauf. In 1977, Sahibzadi Mirza Masroor Ahmad devoted his life for Islam and proceeded to Ghana under the Nusrat scheme. This social, educational and economic development scheme, initiated by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, supports a large number of hospitals and schools in West Africa. He was the founding principal of the Ahmadiyya secondary school Salaga in the northern region of Ghana, where he served for 2 years. Under his devoted care and guardianship, the school went steadily forward. His success at the school made him the obvious choice for the principal of the Ahmadiyya secondary school at Isacha in the central region of Ghana, where he served for a further 4 years. He was then appointed as the manager of the Ahmadiyya agricultural farm in Dapali in the northern region of Ghana for 2 years, during which he successfully planted and nurtured wheat as an economic crop for the first time in that country. This was exhibited at an international trade fair, and the results were submitted to the Ministry of Agriculture of Ghana. It stands as a great credit to his personal efforts in those experiments that successive presidents of Ghana have commended the Ahmadiyya Muslim community for these highly successful experiments, which revolutionized the country's economy and paved the way for self-sufficiency. In 1985, he returned to Pakistan, and on the 17th of March 1985, he was appointed as Wakilul Malsani, that is, departmental in charge of financial affairs. On the 18th of June 1994, he was appointed as Director of Education. In August 1988, he was appointed as President Bahishti Maqbara and Majlis Karpadaz, which is the executive committee managing the Celestial Graveyard and its related matters. From 1994 to 1997, he was Chairman Nasir Foundation. At the same time, he served as the president of the organization responsible for the beautification of Rabwah, the international headquarters of the community. He expanded the Gulshan-e-Ahmad nursery, and his personal efforts led to reforming Rabwah from its barren to its lush green image. Sahibzadi Mirza Masroor Ahmad also served as a member of the Qada, the jurisprudence board of the community, from 1988 to 1995. In Central Talim-ul-Ahmadiyya, an auxiliary organization of the community comprising of men between 15 and 40 years of age, Sahibzadi Mirza Masroor Ahmad served under various capacities, such as the secretary responsible for the physical health of members, secretary for census and membership records, secretary for external chapters, and the vice president of the organization from 1976 to 1990. In Central Majlis Ansarullah, an auxiliary organization of the community comprising men over 40 years of age, Sahibzadi Mirza Masroor Ahmad served as the secretary responsible for the intellectual progress and physical health of the members during the 1995 term, and as the secretary for Quranic education for the terms from 1995 to 1997. On the 10th of December 1997, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah have mercy on him, appointed him as Nazir-e-Allah, that is, the Chief Executive Director of Sadr Anjuman Ahmadiyya Pakistan and the Amir of Rabwah.
अब जबकि मैंने इनकी जगह नाज़िर-ए-आला और अमीर मकामी इनके शहजादे मिर्ज़ा मसरूर अहमद साहब को बनाया है, तो मेरा इस इल्हाम की तरफ भी ध्यान फिरा कि गोया आप अब ये कह रहे हैं तू मेरी जगह बैठ.
He filled this office with distinction for over 5 years until his election of Khalifatul Masih V. In administrative matters and a disciplined approach to work, he has no parallel. He has the unique quality of getting down to the heart of the matter and dealing with it squarely. While he served as the Chief Executive Director of Sadr Anjuman Ahmadiyya, an office which involved the discharge of heavy responsibilities at the center of the organizational pattern of the movement, he was ready to serve in whatever capacity he was called upon. During this period, he also served as the Director for Hospitality and, in addition, as the Director responsible for agricultural matters. In 1999, He had the honor of becoming a prisoner in the name of Allah in Rabwah, Pakistan. He was imprisoned on the 30th of April, pursuant to the continuing religious persecution through the inhumane religious persecution laws under Section PPC 295B, for being the person in charge of the Central Administration Office. He was released on the 10th of May, 1999. Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih V, passed away at his residence in London at 9:30 a.m. on the 19th of April 2003. Over 40,000 members of the community converged in London. In conformity with the constitution of the community's electoral college, under the chairmanship of Chaudhry Hamidullah Sahib, Executive Director, Tehreek-e-Jadid, a meeting of the electoral college, which was convened on the 22nd of April, after Isha prayers for the purpose of electing the new Khalifa. The meeting was held behind closed doors at the Fazl Mosque, London. As the mosque doors were closed for the meeting, a hush descended over the thousands of members of the community who thronged the surrounding streets. This time was spent by everyone in humble and earnest supplication to the Divine, that the members of the electoral college may be rightly guided in their choice of the successor to Khalifatul Masih IV. The whole scene was broadcast live to millions across the world via MTA International. The college met in a deeply prayerful mood. Pursuant to the rules and regulations of the college, each member took an oath of allegiance to the Khilafat-e Ahmadiyya and then proceeded to the process of election. At 11:40 p.m., the silence ended. The thousands waiting on site and the millions watching on MTA International heard the microphone crackle to life, and Imam Ataul Mujib Rashid, the secretary to the Electoral College, made the announcement.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem wa ala abdihil masihil maud. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. तमाम अहबाब जमात हाय अहमदिया की इत्तला के लिए ऐलान किया जाता है कि आज मोरखा 22 अप्रैल सन 2003 बरोज़ मंगल बाद नमाज मगरिब व इशा मस्जिद फ़ज़ल लंदन में सैयदना हज़रत खलीफतुल मसीह सानी अल मुस्लिहुल मऊद रज़ी अल्लाहु अन्हु की मुकर्रर करदा मजलिस इंतखाब खिलाफत का इजलास बसदारत मोहतरम चौधरी हमीदुल्लाह साहिब मुनक़िद हुआ, जिसमें हस्ब कवायद हर रुकन ने खिलाफत अहमदिया से वाबस्तगी का हलफ उठाया और उसके बाद मुकर्रम व मोहतरम साहिबजादा मिर्ज़ा मसरूर अहमद साहिब सल्लमहु रब्बहु को खलीफतुल मसीह मुंतखब किया। अराकीन मजलिस इंतखाब खिलाफत ने उसी वक्त हज़रत अमीरुल मोमिनीन खलीफतुल मसीह ख़ामिस अय्यदहुल्लाहु ताला बिनस्रिहिल अज़ीज़ व अतालल्लाहु बक़ाहु के दस्ते मुबारक पर बैत का शर्फ हासिल कर लिया है।
MTA cameras were allowed in the Fazl Mosque with permission of the newly elected Khalifa. Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih V then made a brief address.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين अहबाब जमात से सिर्फ एक दरख्वास्त है कि आजकल दुआओं पे ज़ोर दें, दुआओं पे ज़ोर दें, दुआओं पे ज़ोर दें, बहुत दुआएं करें, बहुत दुआएं करें, बहुत दुआएं करें। अल्लाह ताला अपनी ताईद व नुसरत फरमाए और अहमदियत का ये काफ़िला अपनी तरक्कियात की तरफ रवां दवा रहे। आमीन। बैठ जाएं।
हुजूर ने फरमाया है दोस्त बैठ जाएं।
Hudur Anwar, Khalifatul Masih V, asked everyone to sit down. In an instant, the thousands who were present, whether they were in the mosque, in the complex, on the pavements, or on the roads around the mosque, everyone spontaneously took to the floor. This spectacle was incredible, like a wave in the ocean. The tide of humanity sat down immediately. This level of obedience and adherence shown to the call of the newly elected Khalifa was unprecedented in the modern day.
Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu.
Those who were outside the Fazl Mosque, together with the millions of Jamaat members across the world, took the oath of allegiance at his blessed hand. As soon as the choice of the Electoral College became known, it was universally felt as if comfort and consolation were descending upon every heart from heaven.
आज मैं मसरूर के हाथ पर बैत करके जमात अहमदिया मुस्लिमा में दाखिल होता हूँ.
On the 23rd of April at Islamabad, Tilford, the funeral prayers over the beloved departed, led by the newly elected Khalifa, and his interment later on the same day, were a deeply moving experience for everyone. An experience which was born of conflicting emotions, of grief and bereavement on the one hand, and steadfast submission to the divine will and a firm resolve to march forward in earnestness, giving of one's very best on the other. Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih V, was called to his exalted office at a mature age in the face of the most poignant tragedy of the death of Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih IV, and by the grace and mercy of God has proved himself an inexhaustible source of comfort and consolation to all members of the movement. He possesses a firm but gentle disposition, which is characterized chiefly by shyness and modesty. It has been observed, however, that when the occasion so demands, he does not fail to provide dashing leadership. From the beginning of his Khilafat, he has given proof of great zeal and drive in the pursuit of the objectives of the movement. One of the very first projects that he initiated on the 26th of July 2003 was the setting up of the Tahir Foundation in memory of Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih IV, the purpose of which was to push forward all the designs in which the late Khalifatul Masih had taken particular interest.
अब आखिर में मैं एक ऐलान करना चाहता हूँ. मुख्तलिफ लोगों ने भी तवज्जो दिलाई है, मुझे भी ख्याल आया कि हज़रत खलीफातुल मसीह रावे रहमतुल्लाह ताला की जारी फरमुदा तहरीकात हैं और ग़लबा इस्लाम के लिए आपके मुख्तलिफ मंसूबे थे. आपके खुतबात हैं, तकारीर हैं, मजालिस से इरफान हैं, उनकी तदवीन और इशाअत का काम है. तो ये काफ़ी वसी काम है जिसके लिए एक अलग इदारा के क़याम की ज़रूरत है. तो इस सोच के बाद मैंने ये फ़ैसला किया है कि एक इदारा ताहिर फाउंडेशन के नाम से कायम किया जाए और इसके इंशाअल्लाह एक मजलिस होगी, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स होगा जो 20 मेंबरान पर मुश्तमिल होगा. दुआ करें कि ये जो कमेटी बनेगी इसको अल्लाह ताला काम करने की तौफीक भी दे और हर लिहाज से वो काम जो हज़ूर रहमतुल्लाह ताला के पास तहरीरात के ऐसे हैं जो अभी दुनिया के सामने पेश करने की ज़रूरत है, उनको मुकम्मल करने की तौफीक मिले.
The institution of Ahmadiyya started after the demise of the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, on the 26th of May 1908, with the election of his first successor, Hadhrat Maulana Nuruddin, as Khalifatul Masih I on the 27th of May 1908. In anticipation of the 100 years of Ahmadiyya Khilafat, which were to be completed in 2008, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V made an announcement concerning the Thanksgiving celebration of the Khilafat-e-Ahmadiyya centenary. He put forth a spiritual plan before the members, which included prayers and a supererogatory fast every month, with the intention that may Allah keep the Ahmadiyya Khilafat established forever. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community is a truly global community, and Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih V is by every measurement cosmopolitan in experience and steeped in erudition. He travels widely around the world to check up on the activities of the missions of the movement in those countries and to make an appraisal of the opportunities of further progress. One cannot help but be captivated when one is in his presence, whether on a one-on-one basis or amid a sea of thousands of people. He makes that personal connection all the time. He possesses an amazing personality that really overshadows almost everything else going on around him. Almost all Ahmadis or non-Ahmadis alike who have experienced him at close quarters understand the special spiritual luminosity he radiates. In August 2003, Hadhrat travelled outside the United Kingdom for the first time after becoming Khalifatul Masih. He travelled by road to Germany, breaking journey at Belgium, France and Holland. The main purpose of this blessed journey was to address the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya community in Germany and to meet the members who live in large numbers in those European countries. On the 3rd of October 2003, Hadhrat inaugurated the Baitul Futuh Mosque, which is a magnificent architectural landmark in London.
Allah Ta'ala ke fadl se aaj inshallah Ta'ala बल्कि इस वक्त जुमा के खुतबे के साथ इस मस्जिद का जिसका नाम खलीफतुल मसीह रहमतुल्लाह ताला ने बैतुल फतूह रखा था इफ्तिताह किया जा रहा है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
It is Western Europe's biggest mosque complex, with a capacity to accommodate 10,000 worshippers. Adorned with a 15.5-meter dome, the mosque is located in Morden on a 5.2-acre site. The mosque complex provides the community with a central focal point for meetings, social and religious events. The community acquired the site in 1996, and the late Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih IV, laid the foundation stone of the mosque on the 19th of October 1999. The opening of the mosque was extensively publicized in the British and international media, and the inaugural function was attended by eminent personalities, including members of parliament, mayors, scholars, journalists, and distinguished friends of the movement, who were blessed with an inspiring spiritual address by Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih V. On the 13th of March 2004, Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih V embarked upon a historic 4-week tour of West African countries. This faith-inspiring tour covered Ghana, Burkina Faso, Benin and Nigeria, in that order. He graced the annual conventions of all 4 countries and addressed the gatherings attended by thousands. This was a historic occasion when, for the first time, the addresses by Khalifatul Masih were broadcast live on MTA International from the soil of Africa. During this epic tour, many eminent personalities of African countries, including heads of state, ministers, parliamentarians and paramount chiefs, had audience with Hadhrat and attended the receptions given in his honor. Tumultuous welcome greeted him everywhere. He consistently attracted large crowds during this trip, some amongst the largest ever assembled in the Jamaat history of West Africa. In Ghana, on the 15th of March 2004, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Agyekum Kufuor, personally welcomed him in the country. The President also attended and addressed the annual gathering of the community in Ghana in Hadhrat's presence on the 18th of March 2004.
I took to the lectern because I just want to tell all of you I'm one with you in expressing joy and happiness in welcoming His Holiness, who, as I say, is a Ghanaian, because it was here by his own autobiography, or is it the CV prepared for me by Mavi Wahabadam? It was here he started the mission, his mission, to serve humanity in the Ahmadiyya movement.
In Burkina Faso, the Prime Minister Paramanga Ernest Yonli and President of the country, Mr. Blaise Compaoré, had an audience with him on the 26th of March 2004. Similarly, the President of Republic of Benin, Nicéphore Dieudonné Solio, invited him to his palace and exchanged thoughts on matters of mutual interest. It was the first ever tour by a Khalifa to Benin. The officials readily acknowledged educational, social, as well as spiritual services rendered by the movement. Newspapers, radio and television gave wide coverage to his travels. This journey was a tremendous success in many respects. In fact, it heralded a new era of preaching in West Africa. In 2004, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V inaugurated MTA2, the second channel of the community's satellite TV station. He is very mindful of the community's well-being and needs. From the very beginning of his Khilafat, he took a keen interest in reorganizing the daily schedules of MTA to cater for the needs of different time zones of the world. He personally chaired meetings with the MTA's scheduling department and some members of the MTA board to revamp the scheduling of the channel. This led to the idea of having a second channel to provide a better service at appropriate times to different parts of the world. Under Hadhrat's constant supervision and guidance, MTA2 finally became reality on the 23rd of April 2004. From the 21st of June 2004 to the 5th of July 2004, Hadhrat visited Canada, where he was given the privileges of a state VIP. Upon his arrival in Canada, he was greeted at the airport by various government officials, which included Judy Scrow, Federal Minister of Immigration and Citizenship, Joe Volpe, Federal Minister of Human Resources, Jean Augustine, Federal Minister for Multiculturalism, and various other MPs and officials. The federal government police force escorted Hadhrat's motorcade throughout the visit. At a welcome reception held at Talim-ul-Islam Mosque, His Worship Michael Di Biase, the mayor of Vaughan City, presented the key of the city to Hadhrat. The focal point of this tour was the 28th Annual Convention of Canada, held on the 2nd to the 4th of July at the International Centre, Mississauga. Hadhrat's addresses to the convention were televised live on MTA International. The Prime Minister of Canada also sent a special message for the convention. The Promised Messiah initiated a scheme in 1905, commonly known in the Jamaat as the Wasiat, or the will scheme. This scheme was announced together with the announcement about the system of Khilafat in his book, The Will. Under the Wasiat scheme, devout Ahmadis who wish to become members of the scheme are required to attain higher spiritual changes in their life and commit a portion, not less than 1/10 of their lifetime earnings and any property, to the cause of Islam. By the year 2004, 38,000 devout Ahmadis had joined this blessed scheme. On the 1st of August 2004, during his concluding address to the International Annual Convention held in the UK, Hadhrat initiated a plan to get another 15,000 Ahmadis to join this scheme by 2005, which marks the centenary year of the scheme.
अगले साल इंशाल्लाह ताला वसीयत के निज़ाम को कायम हुए 100 साल हो जाएंगे जैसा कि मैंने कहा तो मेरी ये ख्वाहिश है और मैं ये तहरीक करना चाहता हूँ कि इस आसमानी निज़ाम में अपनी ज़िंदगियों को पाक करने के लिए अपनी नस्लों की ज़िंदगियों को पाक करने के लिए शामिल हों आगे आएँ और कम से कम ये कमों पेश अंदाज़ा मैंने दिया था कम से कम 15,000 इस एक साल में नई वसाया हो जाएँ ताकि कम से कम 50,000 वसाया तो ऐसी हों जो 100 साल में हम कैसे कहेंगे हुई तो ऐसे मोमेंट तो निकले कहा जा सके कि जिन्होंने खुदा के मसीह की आवाज़ पर लबैक करते हुए कुर्बानियों के आला मयार कायम किए.
He also said that it is his wish to include at least 50% of the earning members of the community to join this scheme. From the 16th of August 2004 to the 15th of September, Hadhrat travelled to Europe and graced the Ahmadiyya annual conventions of 3 European countries, starting with Germany. He arrived in Germany on the 17th of August and addressed their annual convention on all 3 days. The convention was held on the 20th, 21st and 22nd of August. On the 1st of September 2004, he set foot in Switzerland for the first time. A very warm welcome was extended to him by the Swiss officials and the Jamaat when he arrived at the Mahmud Mosque in Zurich. During his visit, Hadhrat addressed the 3-day annual convention of the Swiss Jamaat, which was held on the 3rd, 4th and 5th of September. This visit was very historic in 2 ways. Firstly, it was the first ever that a Swiss convention was graced by a Khalifa, and secondly, for the first time in the movement's history, the sermon of a Khalifa was broadcast live across the globe from the Swiss soil. On the 8th of September, Hadhrat arrived in Brussels, Belgium, where he addressed their 3-day convention on the 10th, 11th and 12th of September. At the end of his tour, he briefly stayed in Holland from the 13th to the 15th of September. On the 30th of September 2004, Hadhrat went on a historic UK tour. The centrepiece of his visit was the inauguration of the Darul Barakat Mosque in Birmingham on the 1st of October.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कि आज जमात अहमदिया बरतानिया की इस मस्जिद जो बर्मिंघम में की जमात ने बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा लेकर तामीर की है इसकी तकमील होने पर इफ्तिताह हो रहा है.
The inaugural reception was attended by a large number of distinguished guests, including the Deputy Lord Mayor of Birmingham, members of the UK and European parliaments, scholars, journalists, businessmen, and people from other walks of life. The opening ceremony was shown live on MTA International, and extensive coverage was given in the local and national media. During this trip, Hadhrat also laid the foundation stones of two significant mosques. The first ceremony was held for the Al-Mahdi Mosque in Bradford on the 2nd of October. The second ceremony was held on the 3rd of October for laying the foundation stone of the Nasir Mosque in Hartlepool. During this UK tour, as a gesture of benevolence and affection, Hadhrat accompanied all the missionaries of the movement appointed in the UK and their families for a picnic at Ilkley. He later went on to visit the community branches at the Lake District, Scunthorpe, Huddersfield, Manchester and Glasgow. On the 22nd of December 2004, Hadhrat travelled to France. The highlight of this tour was the annual Convention of France, which was held on the 26th, 27th and 28th of December, to coincide with the annual Convention of Qadian. During the convention, Hadhrat not only addressed the audiences present in France, but also addressed the gathering in Qadian. His addresses were relayed live from France on MTA International. Many eminent personalities, including the French President, Jacques Chirac, and the Prime Minister, Jean-Pierre Raffarin, sent special messages of goodwill and welcome, which were read at the Jalsa. During this trip, Hadhrat also paid an official visit to the famous palace, Château de Versailles. The visit was arranged through the French Ministry of Cultural Affairs and the Ministry of Internal Affairs. In January 2005, Hadhrat paid a visit to Ahmadiyya communities in Spain. He arrived in Spain on the 1st of January 2005. Ahmadis living in Spain got the opportunity of meeting with the exalted personage and benefiting from his sublime discourses. The most salient features of this tour were Hadhrat's addresses at the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya community in Spain. It was the first time in the history of Spain that a convention was graced by the presence of a Khalifa. During this trip on the 11th of September, Hadhrat visited Gibraltar, where he met the Governor and Commander-in-Chief of Gibraltar, Sir Francis Richard, at Governor House. The meeting lasted for over half an hour, and various matters of mutual interest were discussed. During the same year, from the 26th of April to the 25th of May, Hadhrat travelled to East Africa. He visited Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda. This was again a very successful visit. In Kenya, Hadhrat addressed their 40th annual convention on the 28th and 29th of April. Both the addresses were televised live across the globe on MTA International. This was the first ever live transmission of MTA International done from the soil of East Africa. The Vice President of Kenya, Honourable Mudi Awori, also addressed the Jalsa and thanked Hadhrat on behalf of the Kenyan government for visiting Kenya and for the humanitarian services of the Jamaat in Kenya. While in Nairobi, Hadhrat also attended a reception given in his honour at the Nairobi Serenia Hotel, which was attended by various cabinet ministers and other eminent personalities of Kenya. Hadhrat arrived in Tanzania on the 8th of May 2005. During his stay, he addressed the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya community in Tanzania. This was the first annual convention of the community in Tanzania graced by a Khalifa. On the 13th of May, Hadhrat met the Prime Minister of Tanzania, Honorable Friedrich T. Sumaye, at the Prime Minister House. The Prime Minister discussed various issues of mutual interest and was highly appreciative of the humanitarian services of the Jamaat during the meeting. On the 14th of May, Hadhrat was invited by the President of Tanzania, His Excellency William Mkapa, to the State House. The President welcomed Hadhrat in Tanzania and praised the services of the Jamaat. Hadhrat arrived in Uganda on the 17th of May 2005. Hadhrat was welcomed at the airport by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. The highlight of the tour was the annual convention of Uganda, which was addressed by Hadhrat on the 19th and 20th of May. This was a historic day for Uganda, as it was the first ever convention graced by a Khalifa.
By the grace of Allah, that you are going to start, and you have already started, I should say, the 20th Jalsa Salana of Jamaat Ahmadiyya Uganda.
In June 2005, Hadhrat visited Canada. He arrived in Vancouver on the 4th of June 2005, where he was given the privileges of a state VIP by the Canadian government, and the Federal Police Force of Canada was appointed for Hadhrat's security during the trip. Various eminent personalities, including Canadian MPs and ministers, attended these ceremonies.
And I can tell you, my friends, there is no more beautiful flower in our garden than those of our brothers and our sisters in the Ahmadiyya community. It is wonderful to be here. I know this convention will be a tremendous success, and I'm just honored to have an opportunity to be here with you today.
During this visit, Hadhrat addressed the 29th Annual Convention of the Canada Jamaat, held in Mississauga from the 24th of June to the 26th of June 2005. In August 2005, Hadhrat paid an eventful visit to Germany, Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, Norway and Holland. He left London on the 22nd of August for Germany, breaking journey in Brussels, Belgium. The primary purpose of the Germany tour was to address their annual convention, which was held on the 26th, 27th and 28th of August in Mannheim, Germany. On the 6th of September, Hadhrat left for Denmark. His arrival at the Nusrat Yahya Mosque, Copenhagen, was widely covered by the national media. Hadhrat also answered questions by the press and gave an interview to Denmark's national TV channel, TV2. On the 7th of September, a reception was given in Hadhrat's honor, which was attended by the Minister of Immigrants and Integration. Members of Parliament, journalists, professors, doctors, artists, and various other important personalities. On the 11th of September, Hadhrat arrived in Sweden to attend and address the annual convention of the Scandinavian countries, which was held on the 16th, 17th and 18th of September. A reception was given in Hadhrat's honor on the 17th of September, which was attended by a number of distinguished guests from different walks of life, including 14 members of Parliament and 8 police chiefs. On the 18th of September, Hadhrat arrived in Oslo, Norway. where a reception was given in his honor on the 24th of September at the Grand Hotel. Hadhrat was welcomed by the mayor of Oslo and the representative of the Prime Minister of Norway and other prominent public figures of Norway. The 1st of October 2005 is a huge milestone in the history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, as on this day, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V inaugurated the Jamia Ahmadiyya UK, which is the community's first college of theological studies in Europe. The community is running similar colleges in Qadian, Rabwah, Ghana, Nigeria, Tanzania, Indonesia, and Canada, but there was no institute in Europe to cater for the needs of European students. Hadhrat took personal interest in establishing this college, and the entire project was set up under his direct guidance. On the 11th of November 2005, Hadhrat inaugurated the newly built Nasira Mosque in Hartlepool, the United Kingdom. This was the first ever mosque built in that part of the country. City officials, newspaper and TV reporters attended the opening ceremony, and it was widely publicized in the media. In November 2005, Hadhrat paid a visit to Mauritius, which lasted from the 28th of November to the 10th of December. The primary purpose of the visit was to meet the Jamaat members, most of whom were meeting Hadhrat for the first time, and to address the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya community in Mauritius, which was held on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of December. During the visit, the President of Mauritius, Sir Anirudh Jugnauth, met Hadhrat. This meeting was held at the State House in Port Louis, during which various matters were discussed. The Vice President of Mauritius, Mr. Raouf Bundung, also met Hadhrat in a separate meeting held at the Vice President House in Sognac. Throughout the visit, the national media gave prominent coverage of Hadhrat's activities in Mauritius. On the 11th of December 2005, Hadhrat embarked upon a most epochal and historic tour of India, which was spiritually uplifting for the entire Jamaat. It was a very historic tour in a lot of ways. The year 2005 is very significant in the history of the movement, as it marks the completion of 100 years to the initiation of the Wasiat scheme, and according to the lunar calendar, the 100 years of the institution of Khilafat-e-Ahmadiyya were also completed during this year. It was therefore befitting for a convention to be held on the soil of Qadian, the town where Khilafat-e-Ahmadiyya started. With Hadhrat's arrival, Qadian was once again blessed with the presence of a Khalifa. Thousands of Ahmadis from around the world converged upon the hamlet of Qadian, and a tide of humanity greeted Hadhrat. It was the first time in the history of the Jamaat that live transmissions of Hadhrat's sermons, addresses and other activities from Qadian were shown across the globe on MTA International. The voice that was raised from Qadian over 100 years ago was once again raised from Qadian with new splendor and magnitude and reached the ends of the earth. the faith-inspiring annual convention of Qadian was held on the 26th, 27th and 28th of December, which was attended by over 70,000 people. Special intercity trains were run by the authorities to facilitate the smooth arrival of guests. During the visit, many eminent personalities, including heads of other religious communities, ministers, parliamentarians and scholars, had audience with Hadhrat and attended the convention. Hadhrat also led the Eid al-Adha prayers in Qadian. It was the first time after the partition of India in 1947 that a Khalifa led the Eid service in Qadian. This history-making and spiritually exhilarating tour ended on the 17th of January 2006, when Hadhrat returned to London. For 4 weeks in 2006, from the 4th of April to the 15th of May, Hadhrat visited the Far Eastern countries of Singapore, Australia, Fiji, New Zealand and Japan. For the first time ever from the soils of each of these countries, a Khalifa's addresses and sermons were transmitted live across the globe on MTA International. In Singapore, Hadhrat delivered a historic Friday sermon, which was attended by a number of Ahmadis from the neighboring countries of Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea and Brunei.
इस मौके से फ़ायदा उठाते हुए मैं अपने इंडोनेशियन बहन भाइयों से कहता हूँ कि अपनी कौम के अहमदियों को तसल्ली दें कि सब्र करें और सब्र का दामन कभी हाथ से न छोड़ें। बस उससे मदद मांगें, इंशाअल्लाह वो कभी आपको ज़ाया नहीं करेगा, कभी ज़ाया नहीं करेगा, कभी ज़ाया नहीं करेगा।
Oleh karena itu terus menerus berdoa kepadanya. Dia tidak akan pernah menyanyiakan kalian, tidak akan pernah menyanyiakan kalian dan tidak akan pernah menyanyiakan kalian.
In Australia, the focal point of Hadhrat's visit was his attendance and addresses to the annual convention on the 15th, 16th and 17th of April. Hadhrat also graced a reception given in his honour in Canberra on the 19th of April, which was attended by a large number of diplomats, members of parliament and other important personalities. In Sydney, Hadhrat laid the foundation stone of the Khilafat Centenary Hall. Hadhrat arrived in Fiji on the 25th of April. He was welcomed by various government officials at the airport, where he also addressed a press conference.
Please contact counter number 21 for your message. Passenger leave.
Later, he went to the President House to meet the Vice President of Fiji, the Honourable Ratu Joni Madrawiwi, who was also the acting President of the country at the time.
Yeah, something for you to have on in your library.
There's a token gift for you. What's the token?
Thank you very much.
The 2-day annual convention of the Fijian community was also planned to coincide with Hadhrat's visit on the 28th and 29th of April. The gathering was addressed on both days by Hadhrat. While in Fiji, Hadhrat also paid a visit to the historic Dateline in Taverny, which is considered as a corner of the earth. A reception was also given in Hudur's honor, which was attended by a large number of politicians, including the acting president, the Honorable Ratu Joni Madrawiwi, diplomats, eminent Fijian scholars, religious leaders, businessmen, and other distinguished persons. On the 4th of May 2006, Hudur arrived in New Zealand.
New Zealand was formally established in 1987 and has a membership of just over 220 people.
He addressed the community's annual convention on the 5th and 6th of May.
Today, as the people were greater in number and the resources of Islam could be
Hudur left New Zealand and, for the last leg of his journey, arrived in Tokyo on the 8th of May. He attended a reception given in his honor on the 9th of May. The reception was attended by Japanese members of parliament, ambassadors, politicians, professors, police officers, and other prominent personalities from Tokyo. Hudur also addressed the community's two-day annual convention in Nagoya on the 12th and 13th of May. During his stay in Japan, Hudur paid a visit to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum on the 14th of May. From the 3rd to the 20th of June 2006, Hudur visited Belgium, Germany and Holland. In Belgium, Hudur addressed the concluding session of their three-day annual convention on the 4th of June in Brussels. In Germany, he graced and addressed the Ijtimas of Talim-ul-Ahmadiyya and Lajna Imala, which were held in Mannheim on the 9th, 10th and 11th of June.
इसलिए हमेशा एक बात ये याद रखें कि अहमदी तालिबा का बुनियादी फ़र्ज़ ये है कि अपने खुदा को कभी ना भूले, उसको हमेशा याद रखें और उसकी इबादत की तरफ तवज्जो दें.
In Holland, Hudur blessed the last day of their three-day annual convention and addressed the concluding session on the 18th of June in Nunspeet. In 2005, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community United Kingdom purchased a 208-acre site in Hampshire, UK. The site was named Hadhratul Mahdi by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, and on the 28th, 29th and 30th of July 2006, the International Annual Convention of the Ahmadiyya Community was held at a newly acquired site. From the 18th of December 2006 to the 7th of January 2007, Hudur visited Germany together with a brief stay in Belgium and Holland. In Germany, Hudur addressed the annual gathering of Qadian live via satellite link on MTA International from Frankfurt on the 28th of December.
लेकिन अल्लाह ताला की मदद से जब आप दुआएं करते हुए और ईमान पर मजबूती से कायम रहते हुए बग़ैर घबराए ये सफ़र जारी रखेंगे तो हर मंजिल पर पहुंचकर आपको अल्लाह ताला के फ़ज़लों के अज़ीमुश्शान नज़ारे नज़र आएंगे इंशाअल्लाह, और रास्ते की कोई रोक आपकी तरक्की की रफ्तार को कम नहीं कर सकेगी.
A large number of Ahmadis were present in Frankfurt to listen to Hudur, and over 25,000 people were present in Qadian for the gathering. Since the beginning of his Khilafat, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V is very passionate about spreading the message of Ahmadiyyat, the true Islam, to the Arab world, from where Islam started. Under his direct supervision and guidance, the community's satellite TV station, MTA International, started work to launch a dedicated Arabic channel under the dynamic directions of the Khalifatul Masih and in consequence of his continuous humble supplications to the Divine. the efforts bore fruit, and on the 23rd of March 2007, Hadhrat inaugurated MTA As-Salisa Al-Arabiya, the third channel of MTA International, which transmits programs in Arabic 24 hours a day.
MTA 3 Al-Arabiya का इजरा भी हो रहा है. अल्लाह ताला जल्द अरब दुनिया को भी के भी सीने खोले और वो ज़माने के इमाम को पहचान ले.
This is truly a remarkable milestone in the history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Initially, the channel started on Nile Sat for Middle East only, then was moved to Hotbird and CSAT in March 2008 for greater coverage in the Middle East and Europe. In February 2008, it also started transmission for the North American sector on AMC3 satellite. From the 18th of August to the 8th of September 2007, Hadhrat toured Holland, Germany and France. In his Friday sermon of the 24th of August, which was delivered at Nunspeet, Holland, he condemned the Dutch writer Geert Wilders and gave answers to Wilders' allegations against Islam.
साफ जाहिर है कि बुग़्ज़ और कीने ने इतना अंधा कर दिया कि कुरान पढ़ने की जहमत गवारा नहीं की. जिनको बुग़्ज़ और कीने ने अंधा कर दिया हो, उनको सामने की चीज़ भी नज़र नहीं आती. इनको ये नज़र आ रहा है कि यही एक ऐसा दीन है जो दलील से हर एक का मुंह बंद करने वाला है. इसलिए दलील से काम नहीं बनेगा, वो तो इनके पास है नहीं. मुल्क के कानून पास करके सख्ती से काम करो तो फिर ही बात बनेगी. तो यही हारे हुओं की निशानी होती है.
In Germany, Hadhrat addressed on all 3 days of their annual convention, which took place from the 31st of August to the 2nd of September 2007. After the inception of the third channel of MTA International, and owing to rapid expansion of its services, Hadhrat approved a plan to build a new MTA complex adjacent to the Baitul Futuh Mosque. With Allah's grace, this complex, equipped with the latest technology, was inaugurated by Hadhrat on the 10th of December 2007. It includes a large studio, a news studio, an audio studio, translation suites, editing suites, graphics and animation suites, and the latest IT management and administration facilities. Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih V's energetic, active approach to his office and immense spiritual devotion has enhanced the importance of Khilafat in both the Ahmadiyya and the non-Ahmadiyya circles. Through his extensive world travel, he has shown the true face of Islam to the world, has spiritually elevated the global Ahmadiyya community, and has brought them closer to their Creator. May Allah strengthen his hands and grant him a long and prosperous life, leading the community. Ameen.